Welcome to the main news. I'm Clement Mwanza to present it. The headlines. Zambia upholds high service delivery to people living with the HIV virus despite the coronavirus pandemic. A 29-year-old man arrested for axing to death his 81-year-old grandmother. A member of Ethiopia's National Election Board has announced his resignation without giving reasons for his decisions. The Lusaka Golf Club is set to break the ground for development of infrastructure with $110 million United States reinvestment. And now the details. Zambia has upheld high service delivery to people living with the HIV virus despite the coronavirus pandemic. This is because health facilities remain vigilant in ensuring that people living with the HIV virus receive medical care without any interruption. The network of people living with HIV and AIDS made these observations in an interview with Loyola News in Lusaka. Fred Chungu, the executive director for the network, says Zambia's initiative to set up community access points has helped to maintain high standards of health service delivery.
The treatment for people living with HIV is taken from the health facility and taken into the community. That is one way of avoiding COVID in the health facilities. So the other one is to do with the month dispensing, where our people are getting treatment for 6 months. That is one way of, again, avoiding the COVID in the health facilities. So I wouldn't say it has really disturbed, but the government thought it were proactive in overcoming those challenges of COVID. So on that note, I continue commending the government for such innovations, as well as the ones that we are implementing as people living with HIV, where we are collecting the treatment and taking it into the community.
And Mr. Chungu says Zambia has high chances of having 0 new infections by 2030 if people living with the virus adhere to taking their medicines as prescribed.
So once these people, or once people living with HIV are on treatment, they will have a virus suppression. Once this virus suppression reaches undetectable levels, then there will be no transmission. It has been scientifically proven. So it's just a matter of encouraging people living with HIV to be on treatment. So once we are on treatment, it means there will be no transmission of this HIV. So come 2030, when we according to our targets that we are aiming at, if people living with HIV are on treatment, then we have a hope of having a generation free of HIV.
A financial analyst has told Loyola News that the 2021 national budget may not meet its intended target because 2021 is likely to be a liquid year. Trevor Hambai, a financial analyst, says the Treasury has not put austerity measures in place to assist the budget meet its goals. Mr. Hambai says the current budget has not also been able to meet its target.
The biggest challenge that we have from the budget is the fact that it will be very, very unlikely that we'll be able to meet the allocations that we have put there. The budget has increased from 106 billion to 119 billion for 2021, but you will appreciate that we have not been able to meet this target of 106, and next year we'll have an issue of reduced economic performance. So the immediate issue that we see there is that this budget is an election budget and it will not be able to meet the projections that we have put there.
Finance Minister Walyangandu's 2021 budget speech was delivered against the backdrop of Zambia's pressured fiscal position and macroeconomic implications of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Mr. Hambai says the government's decision to freeze Eurobond implies that the country is insolvent and does not have the capacity to be able to pay its debts. He says the perception directly reflects on the yields of the Eurobond.
The yields on the Eurobond went up, as well as the fact that the international community downgraded the rating for the country. This is on that aspect. The second aspect that this raises is a very cardinal one in terms of how we go to the bondholders. The first question the bondholders will ask us, if you're asking for an extension, when this extension expires, where are you going to get the resources to pay for this? And that we have not put together as a strategy. In terms of going to the bondholders, what we should have done is have an agreement with the IMF in terms of them having to support us for balance of payment. That, look, we're asking for this, but at the end of 6 months, can the IMF support us to make this payment?
Mukuli Chikuba, the Ministry of Finance Permanent Secretary, explained that Zambia has not defaulted to any of its creditors on its foreign debt. Mr. Chikuba said the action taken by government to seek a 6 months debt repayment suspension was to promote transparency and understanding among Eurobond holders. He said Zambia, like many other countries, has been impacted negatively economically by the COVID-19 pandemic. Zambia will conduct its first ever online e-census for the forthcoming 2020 national census. The e-census will be the 60th census conducted in the country since independence. The census was built to be undertaken this year, but due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic and limited resources, it is now due to be conducted next year. Mulenga Musepa, the Zambia Statistics Agency Interim Statistician General, has told Loyola News that the census mapping and listing processes have already been done.
This is an e-census. It's the first time that we are going e-census. And obviously, it has a lot of advantages that you always get when you are doing, you are working with online solutions. For example, it's as simple as saying making a payment using the phone. Okay, you can do it from home. So similar advantages apply to the e-census. Modern census is very, very different. What you need to try and do, you want to take stock of people, because these people have got needs, and with the coming of governments, modern day governments, the governments have got a role in terms of providing to the people various public services, public goods. They want to know, for example, provide hospitals and to provide schools. They want to have a projection of how many people they're going to provide for.
Meanwhile, Zambia Statistics Agency says it will target youths in rural areas to conduct the census. Mr. Musepa says this will be to curb unemployment rates among rural youths.
We do understand the youth unemployment challenge, and what I've done is to revolutionize the recruitment. I do understand, with the support of the peers, that a lot of youth are out there. Grade 12s, and some of them in fact are university graduates. We can actually put them to productive use if we give them an opportunity to actually do the census. And therefore, even the pilot, it's all going to be the youth.
The census is aimed at taking stock of the number of people in the country in order to assist government to make projections of how many people need social services such as healthcare and education. The digital online pilot census, to act as a test to the main census, will be conducted next month. We now take our first break, but coming up, effects of load shedding being severely felt by households and across the business communities. This and many other news items coming up shortly. Stay with us.
As frontliners in the battlefield, we choose to rise above COVID-19. Yes, we choose to fight and to rise above discrimination and not to succumb to fear. We are now alert, and together as one, we are ready to raise our strides of hope. Death might be knocking at the front door, but no mountain is too high, no river too wide, no storm too fierce. Our pain will strengthen us. Fear will drive our faith. Tiende pamozi na mtima umozi. Atwende antomwe amoyomwe. I stayed at work for you. Stay at home for me and be safe. Be that change.
Please, do your best to stay at home. If you must leave your home, please remember to mask up. Keep social distancing of at least 1 meter and wash your hands often with soap and running water or any alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Habib, where do you think you're going?
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh? What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
Ah, you're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real. It's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo!
Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Anthill Studios.
We continue with the news. The effects of load shedding are being severely felt by households and across the business communities, with many people looking forward to the coming months, especially March 2021, when load shedding will be a thing of the past. The Zambezi River Authority says it is playing its part by putting up additional water storage. Christopher Chisense, the Water Resources and Environmental Management Director, says once the facilities are put in place, they will complement the existing infrastructure at the Kariba Dam. Mr. Chisense says that through the principle of reuse of water, the new storage facilities will help generate more electricity and ultimately contribute to a reduction in load shedding.
To mitigate what you just raised is increasing the generation potential on the Zambezi River. The Zambezi River, that is located between the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, has got other areas where you can put up additional water storage infrastructure. For example, by now you should have heard that we are in the process of beginning to construct the Batoka Gorge hydroelectric scheme, which is located 47 kilometers downstream of Victoria Falls. There's also 1 or 2 additional dam sites between Kariba and Batoka, and in fact, even downstream of Kariba. So once we are able to put up additional dams on those existing potential sites, we'll be able to reuse the water in terms of power generation and mitigate issues to do with load shedding. So that is the long-term plan that we have, put up additional water storage and power generation facilities so that those complement the existing infrastructure at Kariba, and through the principle of reuse of the water, we'll have generated more electricity and obviously eliminate load shedding.
The Zambezi River Authority says rehabilitation works at the Kariba Dam have progressed despite setbacks as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. The rehabilitation works at the dam are meant to ensure that the dam remains efficient in its operations. The $294 million United States project, which involves reshaping the plunge pool and refurbishment of the spillway, began in 2017 and is expected to be completed in 2023. 5 people have died in a road traffic accident along Mansa-Samfya Road. 3 other people have sustained injuries. The road traffic accident happened last night at about 20:30 hours. Esther Katongo, the Zambia Police Service spokesperson, has confirmed the accident to Loyola News. Mrs. Katongo is alarmed by the number of road traffic accidents in recent days and appealed to motorists to exercise caution by ensuring that they observe road traffic rules.
5 people have died while 3 others sustained injuries in a road traffic accident which occurred yesterday at about 20:30 hours on Mansa-Samfya Road. Involved was an unregistered Toyota Harrier, which was being driven by Taila Simpemba, aged 22 of Nakonde. He was driving from south to northern direction. And when he reached Chief Chisunga area, he lost control of the motor vehicle as a result of excessive speed. And the driver died on the spot. Others who died have been identified as Jackson Nshinga, aged 32, male juvenile Morgan Kachemba, aged 5, which is 5 years, female juvenile Bridget Chishima, aged unknown age, male juvenile Amon Nshinga, aged 2, all of Kaputa district. The injured are in Mansa General Hospital being attended to and have been identified as Mary Chilea, aged 22, male juvenile Ruben Musonda, aged 5 months, and Elijah, whose other names are not yet known, aged 30. The bodies of the deceased are in Mansa General Hospital mortuary awaiting postmortem.
Yesterday, 6 people died on the spot while others are nursing injuries after a road traffic accident that occurred on Mwense Mansa Road. A 29-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly murdering his 81-year-old grandmother. Kefas Chibesa, now in police custody, asked his grandmother on the head several times until she passed on. Annie Taulo, the grandmother, had been against Kefas Chibesa's habit of smoking marijuana, also known as chamba. Chola Katanga, the Central Province Police Commissioner, has confirmed the incident, which happened yesterday in PCC area in Kapirimposhi. The Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council has condemned videos seemingly showing late musician David Piri, aka Dave, being made to kneel and apologize whilst he was being whipped with a belt. The organization has been alerted to the video circulating on social media, which some women are seen physically abusing Dave. The video surfaced yesterday following Dave's death in a road traffic accident. 4 other passengers also died in the road accident. Chilufya Siwale has since urged law enforcement agencies to take keen interest in the matter and bring the perpetrators to book.
The Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council has been alerted to a video circulating on social media in which some women are seen physically abusing the late musician Mr. David Piri, who died in a road accident on Sunday, 27 September 2020. As an organization, we are appalled by the behavior of the women in the video. As we have stated before, NGOCC condemns in the strongest terms any form of violence regardless of the perpetrator, whether female or male. We therefore condemn in the strongest terms the behavior of the 2 women. It is our hope that the law enforcement agencies will take keen interest in the matter. We however urge both women and men, girls and boys, to desist from any form of violence, as it is retrogressive to the national development of our country.
We take a break, and coming after that, residents of a Mombasa slum win a landmark payout over pollution by a lead smelter. A member of Ethiopia's National Election Board announces his resignation without giving reasons for his decision. The number of people worldwide who have died with COVID-19 surpasses 1 million. These and many other stories coming up. Stay tuned.
Habib, where do you think you're going?
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Ha! What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take mommy and daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real. It's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo!
Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Anthill Studios.
Every day, the death toll rises and hope decreases. Zambia, what should we do? Lysol spray has become perfume. Hand sanitizer has become hand lotion. The news has become the gospel. Everyone scrambles to find the cure, but the cure is within us, ourselves as Zambians. We need to stand up and fight this coronavirus so that Zambia is coronavirus free. You stay home for me, and I'll stay at work for you. This is my Zambia, your Zambia, and our Zambia. It will only take you and me to stand up and fight this coronavirus. For this is the price and promise of citizenship. For love should lead, and love is everything. May God bless Zambia and the rest of the world. Please do your best to stay at home. If you must leave your home, please remember to mask up. Keep social distancing of at least 1 meter and wash your hands often with soap and running water or any alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Loyola News is available for sponsorship. Contact us on telephone number 290912, mobile number +260 978 990980. Email us on loyolanewsroom@gmail.com or visit our offices on 6 Green Lane, Kablonga, Lusaka. In foreign news, Zimbabwe's State Security Minister Owen Gube has accused the opposition of working with Western governments to smuggle guns and oust President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his government. Officials from the opposition movement for democratic change have, however, described the allegations as false and say the party was committed to non-violence. Without providing evidence, Mr. Ngobe said a Western country, which he did not name, had come up with a plan to make Zimbabwe ungovernable to justify foreign intervention. Working with opposition under what he called Operation Lighthouse, the minister said weapons would be smuggled in and militias set up. Rights groups say President Mnangagwa's government has become increasingly intolerant of criticism, especially during the current economic crisis. They have condemned the recent jailing of politicians and activists on what they call bogus charges. The Zimbabwean authorities, starting with the former president Robert Mugabe, have long accused Western countries of backing regime change. But many observers will view this latest tirade as further evidence of a government that is under pressure and lashing out. As the world's attention is focused on the presidential election in America, another important vote for key position is generating controversy in Africa. Chadian politician Moussa Faki Mahamat is running unopposed for re-election as chairman of the African Union Commission. Critics say his run is undemocratic and they are seeking to extend the nomination deadline to November. The Voice of America reports from Johannesburg.
African Union Commission Chairman Moussa Faki Mahamat is running unopposed for re-election as Africa's top diplomat. But that uncontested race has provoked outrage from observers of the 55-member African Union, say is failing to represent the needs of the continent's 1.3 billion people. Critics of the Ethiopia-based organization are lobbying to postpone the vote at least 6 months to let more candidates come forward. The author of a petition by the Coalition of Supporters Unions of Africa says the AU did that 4 years ago, when there were only 3 candidates for that seat. He spoke to VOA via Google Hangouts.
How come that 4 years down the line, at the same time, we are having only 1 candidate, and people are telling us that that is representative enough? If 3 wasn't representative enough, how can 1 be representative enough?
Analyst Liesl Lovaudran of the Institute for Security Studies says this vote, cast by African heads of state, not by the general population, is important.
The AU Commission chairperson also has to represent the continent on the world stage, basically, when it comes to Africa's relations with the European Union, with China, with the US, with the UN. And he has quite a lot of leeway, I would say.
That's why, says Pan-African activist Daniel Mabonu, it's critical to get a leader who truly represents the continent. He supports the petition to delay the vote. He spoke to VOA from Nairobi via Google Hangouts.
He has displayed a lot of incompetency in the organization and running of the AU, of the African Union organization. At the same time, he has been unable to address issues that are facing people of African descent around the world. And there have been allegations of massive fraud at the African Union, corruption, nepotism, which governs the appointment of people to different positions. Over the years, we have seen that the African Union has failed to attain the objectives that it was founded on.
So if not Mohammed, then who? Critics say one candidate, the AU's former ambassador to the U.S., a Zimbabwean national, has been sidelined after she was removed from that position last year. Both critics also claim the AU has been heavily influenced by former colonial leader France. Since 2002, 4 of the 5 commission chairpersons have hailed from Francophone nations.
Just by the uproar that came around after, the purported sack of Madame Marikana Chiombo-Rikpao, I would say, and my organization says, that Faki Mahamat is a failure. He is not somebody that should lead Africa for another 4 years. And we want a change. Now, come to think of it, Madame Marikana Chiombo-Rikpao herself has filed an application for nomination to become, a runner for that same position. And we have a situation where her nomination has gotten lost at the AU headquarters. And that is very, very strange.
The AU has not been able to meet in person in recent months because of the global pandemic. The petition to delay the election has gotten 16,000 signatories, Ababresa says. If granted, it would move the vote into early 2021. Anita Powell, VOA News, Johannesburg.
Pubs in Kenya will reopen today, 6 months after they were shut to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Trading hours, however, have been restricted and bars will have to close by 22 hours. The announcement was made by President Uhuru Kenyatta as he addressed the nation on the government's latest initiative to tackle the pandemic. But against expectation, the president did not reopen schools, saying pupil safety had to be guaranteed. Mr. Kenyatta has extended a nighttime curfew for a further 60 days, but said it would start 2 hours later, now lasting from 23 hours to 04 hours. There has been a steady decline in coronavirus cases in recent weeks, with 53 being recorded on Monday. Residents of a Mombasa slum won a landmark payout in July over pollution by a lead smelter that poisoned locals. Kenya's government was ordered to pay $12 million United States dollars to residents within 90 days because of its failure to enforce environmental regulations with the smelter, which closed in 2014. But the government has appealed the payout, as Voice of America reports from Mombasa, Kenya.
Authorities shut down the lead smelter run by Kenya Metal Refineries EPZ Limited in 2014 due to severe pollution and after several deaths that locals blamed on poisoning. But it wasn't until July this year that an environmental and land court awarded the residents of Mombasa's Owino Uhuru slum a $12 million payout. It was the first time that the Kenyan government was ordered to compensate victims for failing to stop pollution, setting a precedent for future claims. But the celebration was short-lived, as Kenya's Attorney General's office said it was dissatisfied with the decision and plans to appeal.
The government has shown that it does not value the residents here because people have fallen and some have died. People here are still suffering as a result. But the government has disregarded all this. If the government was concerned about our welfare, they would have settled the claim, but instead, they are abusing the court process through this appeal.
48-year-old Anastasia Nambu says the pollution gave her constant migraines and body aches, but she can no longer afford her pain medication.
My entire family has been affected. We were all tested and found to have been poisoned by the emissions. My children's memories were affected, leading to poor performance in school. They complain of joint aches and migraines every day.
Smoke from the smelter discolored rooftops, and a 2015 report by lawmakers said water in the area was contaminated by lead. The court in July also ordered Kenya's National Environmental Management Authority to clean up remaining pollution. But the government's appeal has put that cleanup effort in doubt. Kenya activist group Center for Justice, Governance and Environmental Action helped locals with suing the government.
It's been like a decade of suffering for these people. When they continue prolonging this, more people will continue to suffer and more will die. It also means that there is no closure for the families that lost their loved ones, and also there is no health and continuity of safe, sustainable life in this community is at risk.
Kenya's Attorney General's office declined to comment on the appeal, and requests for comment from the National Environmental Management Authority went unanswered. Meanwhile, residents like Nambo and her family are left waiting and hoping that the court's ruling is upheld. Lenny Ruvaga for VOA News, Mombasa, Kenya.
A member of Ethiopia's National Election Board, Getahun Kasa, has announced his resignation without giving reasons for his decision. This is the first resignation to hit the board since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed reconstituted it after taking office in 2018 with a promise to hold free and fair elections. But the polls, originally scheduled for last month, have been postponed until next year. The board cited the coronavirus outbreak as a reason for the postponement, but the opposition says it is aimed at helping Mr. Abiy Ahmed cling to power. The BBC reports that while the reason for the resignation is unclear, it might signal a lack of confidence in the political transition and preparations for elections. The number of people worldwide who have died with COVID-19 has surpassed 1 million. Researchers say, with many regions still reporting surging numbers of new infections. The toll by Johns Hopkins University shows that deaths in the US, Brazil, and India are nearly half that total. Experts caution that the true figure is probably much higher. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called it a mind-numbing figure and an agonizing milestone. The development comes nearly 10 months after news of the coronavirus began to emerge from Wuhan, China. The pandemic has since spread to 188 countries with more than 32 million confirmed cases. Lockdowns and other measures to try to stop the virus spreading have thrown many economies into recession. Meanwhile, efforts to develop an effective vaccine are continuing, although the World Health Organization has warned that the death toll could hit 2 million before one is widely available. New reported revelations that President Donald Trump paid little in federal taxes, along with the president's unsubstantiated allegations of mail-in voting fraud, have shifted media focus on the U.S. presidential campaign. There is also the political battle to name a new conservative Supreme Court justice before the November election. The Voice of America reports on how both Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden are reacting to these issues as they prepare for the first of 3 presidential debates today, and how these might have an impact on the race.
President Trump on Sunday denied a New York Times report alleging that as a billionaire real estate developer, he avoided paying any federal income taxes in 10 of the last 15 years and paid only $750 in 2016 and in 2017, his first year in the White House.
Totally fake news. No, actually, I paid tax. And you'll see that as soon as my tax returns. It's under audit. They've been under audit for a long time. The IRS does not treat me well.
Democratic candidate Joe Biden's campaign responded with an ad contrasting how little the president reportedly paid in taxes with the thousands of dollars working Americans like teachers, nurses, and firefighters pay. The new focus on taxes could put the president on the defensive as the 2 major presidential contenders prepare to face off in their first debate on Tuesday night in Cleveland, Ohio. Biden has tried to keep the campaign focused on what he says is Trump's failure to contain the deadly coronavirus pandemic that has caused more than 200,000 deaths nationwide. Trump has defended his administration's pandemic response and has questioned the legitimacy of mail-in voting, as polling indicates significantly more Democrats than Republicans will send in absentee ballots because of the coronavirus. In naming federal appeals court judge Amy Coney Barrett to fill the Supreme Court vacancy left by the recent death of liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Trump has also touted how he delivered a conservative majority court that will protect gun owner rights and restrict legal abortion. Biden and Democrats have warned their supporters that a conservative court will likely restrict women's rights, gay marriage, and overturn expanded federal health care protections.
There's no mystery about what's happening here. President Trump is trying to throw out the Affordable Care Act. He's been trying to do it for the last 4 years. The Republican Party has been trying to eliminate it for a decade.
However, analysts say the constant focus on Trump could be a disadvantage for his campaign, which has struggled to make Biden's competency an issue and portray his policies as socialist and radical.
The Trump campaign has failed in making this a choice election. They have not been able to elevate the questions around Joe Biden's candidacy and potential presidency.
Tuesday's debate will give both candidates a major opportunity to change the dynamics of the race, with just weeks to go before the election. Brian Patton, VOA News, Washington.
In sports, Liverpool's new £45 million signing, Diego Jota, grabbed a home debut goal as the champions demonstrated their determination to retain an iron grip on their Premier League crown by coming from behind to record an impressive victory against Arsenal at Anfield. The Gunners, who had won their opening 2 league games, went ahead after 25 minutes when Alexander Lacazette took advantage of Andrew Robertson's error to bundle a close-range finish past Alisson but ended well beaten. Liverpool, who maintained their 100% start to the season and moved second behind Leicester City, responded instantly as man of the match Sadio Mane pounced 2 minutes later after Arsenal goalkeeper Bent Leno could only push out Mohamed Salah's shot, and Liverpool went ahead before half-time when Robertson atoned for his earlier error by getting on the end of a Trent Alexander-Arnold's cross to beat Leno. Liverpool were far superior, but Arsenal will rue a great chance missed by Lacazette, who shot tamely at Alisson when he was clean through with the score 2-1, and their night was complete when Jota, making his Anfield bow following his move from Wolves, shot low past Leno from the edge of the area. Liverpool's response to Arsenal taking the lead sent a powerful message to anyone with hopes of challenging Jurgen Klopp's side for the Premier League title this season. The Lusaka Golf Club is set to break the ground for development of infrastructure with a $110 million United States reinvestment. This follows previous attempts to engage a developer to upgrade the golf club were blocked through court processes. The country's biggest golf facility can perhaps now look to a new era. A $100 million United States deal between the club and Time Projects Properties Limited has been signed. The deal will see Time Projects demolishing the current Lusaka Golf Club house and constructing a new one of international repute. Noah Nkoma, the Lusaka Golf Club president, tells Loyola News that in the eventual phases, there will also be a 5-star hotel constructed and an office park. Mr. Nkoma says the board of the club is committed to raise the standards of the club and redesign the golf course to make it more competitive.
Has been standing here for over 50 years. We are bringing it down and putting up a modern clubhouse. Already there is a budget spend of about $3 million to upgrade the new clubhouse. The golf course you are seeing where we are standing now, there's another facelift. Another $3 million is going into the golf course to make it an international golfing resort. We are putting up a 5-star hotel right behind you where we are standing here. We are already talking to potential partners to manage that hotel, but the developer, Time Projects, is already on board to a total spend of about $110 million.
The Lusaka Golf Club boasts an 18-hole course that is intricately incorporated into a parkland setting. The greens conform to international standards and the club has full country club facilities. The Lusaka Golf Club is probably Zambia's most prestigious sporting facility attracting a good cross-section of golfing nationalities to Zambia. That sporting item brings us to the end of our news, but before we go, here's the retake of the main stories. Zambia has upheld high service delivery to people living with the HIV virus despite the coronavirus pandemic. This is because health facilities remain vigilant in ensuring that people living with the HIV virus receive medical care without any interruption. The network of people living with HIV and AIDS made these revelations in an interview with Loyola News in Lusaka. A 29-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly murdering his 81-year-old grandmother. Kefas Chibesa, now in police custody, axed his grandmother on the head several times until she passed on. Annie Taulo, the grandmother, had been against Kefas Chibesa's habit of smoking marijuana, also known as chamba or ibange. A member of Ethiopia's National Election Board has announced his resignation without giving reasons for his decision. This is the first resignation to hit the board since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed reconstituted it after taking office in 2018 with a promise to hold free and fair elections. But the polls, originally scheduled for last month, have been postponed until next year. The Lusaka Golf Club is set to break the ground for development of infrastructure with a $110 million United States dollar reinvestment. A $100 million United States dollar deal between the club and Time Properties Limited has been signed. The deal will see Time Projects demolishing the current Lusaka Golf Club house and constructing a new one of international repute. That ends our news. On behalf of the entire news and production crew, my name is Clement Mwanza. Good night and God bless.